Hey everyone, this is a video short on how to wire up a circuit, focusing primarily on how our tick marks show up and how Revit handles them in a multi-circuit scenario. So I have 4 rows of lights, each on its own circuit, all being wired back to panel P1 right here. I've gone ahead and put in the wiring for the individual rows, and right now Revit is automatically placing the tick marks, and because I wired from the furthest fixture towards the home run, you can see the neutral is in the correct location. What I want to show you is a couple of the challenges and techniques that can help us with wiring multi-circuit scenarios. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go system wire, and let's go ahead and add some wires to this system. And let's not connect P1 circuit 2 yet, but let's go ahead and connect circuit 5 to circuit 3, and that works okay. We've got a hot for circuit 5 and a neutral, which would be correct. Let's go ahead and do circuit 1 to circuit 3 to circuit 1. That is not correct. Now we only have one hot where we should have a hot for 3 and 5, and the reason for that is Revit doesn't yet know which way the home run is going to go, so it's not going to provide that wire. But if we come in here and go ahead and add the home run here, you will notice that now Revit has added the second hot wire, and we are in pretty good shape. And over here on the home run, we now have 1 neutral and 3 hots, and that's great. We're in great shape and right where we need to be. Now, however, let's say we want to come back here and we want to take what is circuit 5. So let's jump over here to circuit 5 and let's move that down to, say, circuit 17. And let's come back, and now we have circuit 17 here all shows 1 hot and 1 short, so we've got a hot for 17, and that's correct. And this is correct. We're providing a hot for 17 and a neutral. 3 is still correct. 1 is still correct going up. But where we have a problem is right here. Because circuit 3 and circuit 17 are on different phase groups, there should actually be an additional neutral shown here, and it's not. So that becomes a problem whenever we're trying to circuit multi-circuit runs. Revit does not handle neutrals, and especially neutrals across multiple phase groups well. So when we get into a scenario like this, we have to do one of a few things. We have the option to turn off of all of our wire tick marks, which is not a good choice generally. We can, however, turn them off and manually add the wire tick marks in ourselves, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's come in here to manage MEP settings, electrical settings, and let's come over here to show tick marks, and let's say never, and let's just turn all of these tick marks off. So now no tick marks are showing, automatically being placed. And then let's go ahead and add one more wire here for circuit 2, and let's wire this into this system, and there we have it. Now let's go ahead and manually add some tick marks. So we have within the template wire tick mark tags, which are set up with all the various configurations for wire tick marks. So let's go ahead and use those, and I'm going to grab the long short and begin over here at the furthest distance, and let's go ahead and put that there, and then we will need to rotate it and get it oriented the correct direction, and we can do that, and then we should be able to copy it from wire to wire, and then we can copy the entire row from one row to the next, which we will then have to go back and adjust slightly the locations so that they fall on the wire. And we've got those close enough for this demonstration. So we're in good shape on that, and that's not anything different than we were seeing when Revit automatically placed the tick marks. Now, here's where manually placing them helps. We know this first run up here, we have P1 circuit 2, and it's going to be a long short because it's only needing one hot wire for the purposes of circuit 2. And when we come to this next run, we are now going to provide a hot wire for 17, a hot wire for 2, but we need to provide 2 neutrals. And the reason for that, if you're not familiar with how we provide neutrals, let's jump over to the panel. So every phase group can share a neutral. So if we're in a 3-phase panel, 1, 3, and 5 can share one neutral, 3 hots. 7, 9, 11 can share a neutral. 13, 15, 17 can share a neutral, so on. Same thing on the other side of the panel. Circuits 2, 4, and 6 can share a neutral. So if we come back over to this sheet and we are ready for this next run, we now know we're going to have a hot for circuit 2, a hot for circuit 7, and 2 neutrals, one to cover each one of those phase groups. So we're going to need then a long short, long short. So we can come down here and grab that and drop it in, and there we go. We have a long short, long short. Now, just to give you an idea of how the wiring works, or the wiring tick marks work with the various phase groups, we now come to this next run and we have circuits 2, 17, and 3. So now we have 3 hots in 3 different phase groups. So if we left this the same, didn't change any of these circuits, we would actually need to place a long short, long short, long short in here. And we don't have that, but what we can do is place a long short here, and then also place behind it another tick mark, or another tag, which would be the long short, and that way we would be able to get that. Now, in reality, if we were wiring this, chances are we wouldn't wire it this way. It wouldn't be likely that we would go circuits 1, 3, 17, and 2. At the very least, I would think we would probably come in here and take all of these that are on 17, and I would try to place them on something within the phase group like circuit 5. So if I do that and come back to the lighting panel, now I've got 1, 3, 5, and I still have 2. So what I can do, or what I need to do then, is come in here and delete this and this, and I can come in, and now what I have is at this place is, because I have circuits 2 and 5 still on separate phase groups, I have a long short, so I can drop that in. But what it allows me to do on these next 2 runs, now 1, 3, and 5 are all sharing a phase group and are on the same phase group and sharing a neutral. So now this is going to be a long, short, short, long. So let's grab that and drop it in here. And what we can do, or what we see then, is we have circuits 1 and 5 share a phase group, so they have one neutral, and circuit 2 is on its own phase group and it has its own neutral. And then this last run is going to be 1, 3, 5, which are on their own phase group. So we would come down here and we would go long, short, 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 long, and we can rotate that and place it such, and there we have it. And we will do a part 2 of this video series on placing multi-circuit wire tick marks, and that is all